Have you ever wondered how one single language managed to connect pretty much the entire planet? I mean, thousands of languages have come and gone, but English? Well, it became the language of business, of culture, of the internet. Today, we're going to dig into the incredible story of why English is just so important, and more importantly, how you can start using that power for yourself. All right, so here's where we're headed. First, we'll get a sense of the massive scale of English in the world today. Then we'll jump back in time to see how it got to be this powerhouse. It's a pretty wild story. After that, we'll get practical. I'm going to show you the easiest way to start learning just by talking about your own day. And we'll wrap up by looking at how this one skill really can change your future. Okay, first things first. Let's just wrap our heads around how huge the world of English actually is. We're not just talking about another language here. For millions of people, it's become a totally essential skill for modern life. Just let that number sink in for a second. 1.5 billion people. That is nearly 1 out of every 5 people on the entire planet, all learning English at this very moment. And that's no accident. It's this global movement, and it's all driven by this one simple idea, that English opens doors. It really is like having a passport to the entire world. It gives you that freedom to travel and not feel lost or afraid. It lets you connect with people from completely different backgrounds, and it gives you the confidence to just explore. It's the ultimate tool for breaking down walls and building connections. But here's the crazy part. English wasn't always this global superpower, not even close. Its journey from being a language spoken on one small island to taking over the globe is a fascinating story, and it's full of surprises. I mean, if you go back to the 1500s, English was basically a nobody language, spoken by just a handful of people. But then, 2 massive shifts changed everything. First, the British Empire and its powerful navy started carrying the language to every corner of the world. But the real game changer, the thing that locked it all in, came after World War II. The economic and cultural boom of the United States cemented English as the top dog, the undisputed global language. So that brings us to right now. Let's take a look at the specific areas where English really holds its power in our modern world. You can really break it down into these 5 main pillars. You've got money and business, the language of the global economy. Then there's entertainment and pop culture, which shapes what we all watch and listen to. The internet and technology, which is the backbone of our digital lives. Science and innovation, where all the new discoveries get shared. And of course, global politics, the language that gets used in diplomacy. Let's kick things off with money. After World War II, the US dollar basically became the world's go-to currency. That means that global trade, whether it's for oil or for smartphones, it's all priced in dollars. And because of that, English just naturally became the default language for doing business internationally. Next up, entertainment. I mean, just think about the biggest movies, the most popular music, the shows everyone's binging. For the most part, they're made in English and then sent out to the rest of the world. Hollywood especially has been like this giant cultural engine, just pumping out English content and making the language feel familiar and cool everywhere. And then we have technology, which is a huge one. The internet itself was fundamentally built in English. All the coding languages, the first websites, the giant tech companies that basically run our digital world, they all grew out of the English-speaking world. So today, knowing English isn't just helpful for browsing the web, it's pretty much essential if you want to be part of the global conversation around science and new tech. Okay, so we've seen these massive global forces, history, money, technology, that put English right at the center of everything. But here's the thing. That big global story doesn't really matter unless we bring it back down to a personal one, to you. So how does one person tap into all that power? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple. You don't start by looking out at the world. You start by looking at your own day. And why does this work so well? It's because you are the #1 expert on your own life. You don't have to go searching for topics or trying to remember complex grammar. You just describe what you're already doing. It's this simple trick that helps you start thinking in English instead of just translating in your head. So let's break it down into easy, bite-sized pieces. You can talk about your morning, waking up, having breakfast. Then you can describe your afternoon, work, school, taking a coffee break. And finally, your evening, coming home, making dinner, relaxing. Each one is a little chance to practice. And you can start so simple. Seriously, things like, I usually wake up at 7 o'clock. That's it. It's a perfect sentence. Or, I drink coffee most mornings. Each little sentence you make is like laying another brick in the foundation. And it's the exact same idea for the afternoon. After lunch, I check my emails. You're just narrating your own life. When you use your own activities as the practice material, the language sticks because it actually means something to you. It's relevant. Okay, so once you get the hang of talking about your everyday life, something really cool starts to happen. You build this solid foundation, and from there, you can start to understand more complex, more specialized, and even more urgent situations. So let's imagine a scenario where the stakes are way higher, like, say, a medical emergency. In those kinds of moments, knowing the right words isn't just helpful, it can be absolutely vital. For example, you might hear the phrase critical condition. When you hear that, it means things are extremely serious. The patient is so sick or injured that they're in immediate danger. It's a phrase that signals a real emergency. And right after that, you'll probably hear a doctor say that their main goal is to stabilize the patient. That means they're trying to get the situation under control, to pull the person out of that immediate, life-threatening danger, even if they're still very, very sick. And a patient who is in critical condition is almost always moved to the ICU. That stands for Intensive Care Unit. It's a special part of the hospital with more staff and equipment, all designed for patients who need constant round-the-clock care. See, knowing these terms unlocks a whole new level of understanding. And all of this, from talking about your morning coffee to understanding a high-stakes medical drama, it all points to one huge, important idea. Learning English isn't just some school subject. It's about getting your hands on a powerful tool that can literally transform your life. I mean, when you speak English, you suddenly have access to way more job opportunities, and not just where you live, but all over the world. You unlock all the world's knowledge, from free university courses to YouTube tutorials on anything you can imagine. It gives you the confidence to travel anywhere, to connect with anyone, and ultimately, the power to build the future that you want. It's a total game changer. So, we've seen how this language went from a small island to shaping our modern world of business, technology, and culture. The only question left is, well, it's the most important one. How are you going to use it to change your world? The possibilities are endless.